In 1901, a group of Greek sponge divers found something at the bottom of the sea that shouldn't have existed for another 1500 years. Corroded, broken into pieces, and covered in centuries of marine growth, it looked like scrap metal. It would take modern X-ray technology, a century of research, and some of the world's leading physicists to figure out what they'd actually found. A machine so precise, so mathematically advanced, that when it was finally understood, historians had to rewrite what they thought they knew about ancient engineering. This is the story of the Antikythera Mechanism. In the spring of 1900, sponge divers working off the tiny Greek island of Antikythera between Crete and the mainland stumbled onto a Roman-era shipwreck roughly 45 meters underwater. The ship had gone down sometime around 70 to 60 BCE, loaded with luxury cargo, bronze statues, glassware, jewelry, marble sculptures, clearly the property of someone extremely wealthy, possibly bound for Rome. Archaeologists spent the next year recovering what they could. Among the treasures, almost overlooked, was a lump of corroded bronze and wood, cracked into several pieces. It sat in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens for months, before anyone noticed something strange. Gear teeth. Precisely cut, interlocking gear teeth, embedded in the corrosion. Nothing like it had ever been found from the ancient world. For decades, researchers could only guess. The mechanism had over 30 hand-cut bronze gears, some as small as a centimeter across, housed in a wooden case roughly the size of a shoebox. Early theories ranged from an astronomical instrument to a navigational tool to, briefly, unseriously, evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact. The real breakthrough came in the 2000s, when researchers used high-resolution X-ray CT scanning to look inside the corroded fragments without damaging them. What they found was staggering. The device was a mechanical model of the cosmos. It tracked the position of the sun and moon, predicted lunar and solar eclipses, modeled the irregular orbit of the moon using a clever gear-on-gear system, and even accounted for the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. In short, it was an analog computer, built entirely from bronze gears over 2,000 years ago. Inscriptions on the mechanism. Thousands of tiny Greek characters, essentially an instruction manual, link the device to the astronomical traditions of Rhodes and the island's famous school of mechanics. Some researchers connect it to Archimedes, or at least to engineers working in his tradition, though the exact maker remains unknown. Here's what makes this genuinely unsettling for historians. Nothing else like it survives. No simpler prototypes, no later copies. The next known device with comparable gearing complexity doesn't appear in the historical record until European clockmakers in the 14th century. a gap of over 1,400 years. Either the Antikythera Mechanism was a complete one-off, an unrepeated miracle of ancient engineering, or, and this is the theory gaining traction, this kind of technology existed more widely in the ancient world and we've simply lost the evidence. Bronze was valuable. Old or broken devices were very likely melted down and reused. The Antikythera Mechanism may have only survived because it sank to the bottom of the sea, out of reach of scrap metal dealers for 2,000 years. Which raises an uncomfortable question. How much ancient technology disappeared, not through some dramatic collapse, but through simple recycling? Since the 2000s, several teams, including researchers at UCL and independent horologists, have built working replicas based on the CT scan data. These reconstructions function exactly as the inscriptions describe. Turn a hand crank, and the device accurately displays the position of celestial bodies for any given date, predicts eclipses years in advance, and tracks the moon's elliptical orbit using a genuinely elegant mechanical trick, a pin and slot system that nobody expected ancient engineers to have discovered. It's not a myth. It's not exaggerated. It's a fully functional, verified 2,000-year-old machine. And modern engineers who've studied it describe the moon mechanism specifically as something they wouldn't have expected before the 16th century. The Antikythera Mechanism doesn't just tell us the ancient world was capable of remarkable engineering. It tells us how much we don't know. How many firsts in human history might actually be seconds or thirds, with the earlier chapters lost to time, war, or the simple economics of melting down bronze. Somewhere at the bottom of the Mediterranean or buried in a museum drawer, there may be another one waiting. If you want more stories like this, ancient mysteries backed by real archaeology, not speculation, subscribe. Next week, the walls of Sacsayhuaman and the engineering puzzle nobody has fully solved.